Expo 2010 in Shanghai has drawn huge amounts of investment from both the Chinese government and Chinese companies as well. BON's Zach Reff looks at why the Chinese are planning such a big spectacle and whether or not the World Expo is still a relevant event.
If anyone doubts the significance of the World Expo, don't tell that to the Chinese. In the wake of the global economic crisis, China has committed to organizing the largest ever World Expo. Once called the World's Fair, the numbers surrounding next year's event in Shanghai are staggering. China will spend about $4.2 billion staging the expo, more, in fact, than was spent for the 2008 Beijing Olympics. Expo organizers expect 70 million people to attend the 6-month-long festival, including about 3.5 million visitors from abroad. Compare this to the last World Expo, which was held in Japan in 2005 and attracted slightly over 22 million visitors. China's investment in the expo is intended to prop up the domestic economy, to promote the country to the world, and to further Shanghai's development into a world-class metropolis. Businesses and business leaders across China are also getting in on the act by making significant contributions to the expo. Guo Guangchang, the 20th richest man in China according to Forbes, and the chairman of Fosun Group, one of the largest private companies in China, is helping build an expo pavilion devoted to promoting private enterprise. Guo says that the expo will allow China to showcase its more creative impulses.
As I always say, the Olympics were a chance to show our muscle, while the expo is a chance to show our wisdom and creativity. And what China needs right now is exactly that wisdom and creativity, besides just muscle. So the expo is very important for all Chinese companies.
Yet while China is spending big bucks to promote itself through the expo, the event hardly registers for many Westerners, and few Americans can even name where the last one took place. In fact, the United States came close to not even participating in the 2010 expo. The United States didn't officially confirm its participation in the expo until July this year, missing the official deadline set by expo organizers by 3 months. The reason for this tardiness was mostly due to a lack of funding. A federal law prohibits the U.S. government from funding international exhibitions, leaving the financing of the U.S. pavilion to corporate sponsors, and the pavilion organizers have had trouble finding companies to take part. Many U.S. firms spent a lot of money supporting the 2008 Beijing Olympics, leaving little room to sponsor another massive event in China in such a short span of time. And many would-be sponsors also saw their budgets depleted in the global economic crisis. But according to Guo, taking part in the expo is essential for companies wanting to promote themselves to China's increasingly important consumers.
If any company wants to promote their own brand in Chinese market, they will need to participate in the expo. Any company that wants to be successful worldwide has to find a place for itself in China. Otherwise, it cannot call itself a global corporation.
And for many Chinese, the expo is also another chance for China to prove itself to the world.
The expo is like a great party to show the world what you have. It's like inviting people from all over the world to visit your home. We really want to show the difference between old China and modern-day China. We hope foreign visitors will have a different opinion after seeing the expo.
Zach Reff, BON.
Well, it's going to be a massive event either way you cut it. The U.S. pavilion, of course, you probably heard, has been dogged by troubles. The first nonprofit group that was charged with actually establishing the pavilion had to bail out. In fact, it bailed out around the time that the Olympics in Beijing were being held. So a second nonprofit group was formed to get this pavilion off the ground. And it has met with some success. It's raised $45 million to get in corporate sponsorship, but it needs $61 million, and a lot of that funding is slow to come. So at least for one pavilion, there's been some struggles. This World Expo, as far as U.S. companies is concerned, probably couldn't have come at a worse time, considering the global financial crisis.
Absolutely. It's interesting you pick up these numbers, $45 million in corporate sponsorship, these enormous figures. Even though the Expo doesn't have perhaps the global prominence that, say, the Beijing Olympics had, we're still talking about a significant event. I mean, it's, 70 million visitors are expected to come over. 185 companies have accepted invitations to attend. 46 international organisations, so it might not share the glitz and the glamour, but it's still going to be quite a sizable event.
And the experts are predicting this will, in fact, be the biggest expo ever in terms of magnitude. So we're certainly looking forward to it.
Absolutely. So stay with us. We'll get the reaction to the expo from the people here in China in today's Straight from the Street coming up next.